Hi, I'm Justine Louise. Welcome to my channel. So for my regular subscribers and viewers, I know this is a little bit different and probably doesn't pertain to probably any of you. In fact, I think this might only pertain to maybe 1% of people out there, but I just thought I would post this just because it's something that's a little bit different about me, and I'm surprised that no one's actually even asked me about this yet. But I thought I would put a video together on my eye. I'm actually blind in my right eye, completely blind since I was a child. I think we're not quite sure, but we think I had uveitis as a small baby, and when my mom kept taking me to the doctor, they just kept saying she has a cold in her eye, and what ended up happening is I went blind. My eyes weren't different at that time, so it wasn't noticeable, and then when I was around 3 years old, my mom and dad discovered that I was blind. And then slowly from there, it started cataracting. And also as a result, you may notice that they're different sizes. So this eye actually never grew. Like the eyeball itself, it's just the same size, I think, as when I was a tiny tot. So you can see a huge difference in my eyes even when they're closed. That this one is just such a small eye. And it also has cataract, and it has no pupil, and lazy. I've got it all. So, and it kind of wanders. So I have a whole bunch of different issues with it, but over the years I've just made the best of it. I have even modeled, so there is hope out there, and there's actually a few little tips and tricks that I can give to you if you have any of these issues that you can maybe tweak a little and try and boost up your confidence a little. I know this can be a huge confidence zapper on people, especially if maybe this happened to you later in life, and not only are you struggling with the visual impairment, which is a whole other topic, but you just want to put your best look forward and try and look your best and try and avoid questions. I know you get a lot of questions, and sometimes what's even worse is when you can tell somebody notices but don't ask a question, because then you're wondering what they're thinking. So I personally would prefer just asking me straight out, as long as it's not mean-spirited. And if you have the same issue as me or any of the issues as me, you do know there also can be mean-spirited people out there, but generally people are just curious and have questions. But we'll leave that topic for something else. But today all I want to show to you is give you some tips and tricks on how to kind of make your eyes look a little bit better and a little bit more similar, or they're never going to be identical, but there's lots of little tips and tricks that I can pass along to you, because this has been a work in progress since I was a young girl. I've always been trying to look my best. So anyway, we'll start off with something easy, and that's makeup. Now, I'm not a makeup artist, and I don't have the skills to try and make my eyes look similar, but I try and do my best, and just to try and give this one a little bit more of lift. And sometimes I just don't wear as heavy makeup on the side to make this one look a little bit more noticeable. But I have had my makeup done by professional makeup artists, and I'll insert photos here of what an amazing job they can do. Makeup artists are extremely talented. I mean, they can contour faces and make bigger noses look smaller, so they also very skilled at making eyes look more similar, because I know I'm not the only person out there that has different shaped or sized eyes, maybe not as many issues as me, but just not symmetrical. So I'll insert some photos of that, and I'll show you just how skilled a makeup artist can really be. They're just amazing. I could probably take a class and learn how to do it for myself, but I just can't be bothered. So I just kind of do my best, and I'm happy with the way I do my makeup for now, and I just leave all my other little tricks up my sleeve. So another one that you can do that's quite easy is lash extensions, especially if you have this really small eye. I have worn lash extensions. I actually was quite addicted to them because they give your eyes a bit of a lift, and especially this one that is a little bit droopy and small, it gave it a little bit more oomph, and people notice my eyelashes more than they notice my eye differences. So that also is a great little trick. I didn't continue with them. They can be very expensive and very time consuming, the appointments are about 2 hours. But just, you know, maybe if you have a special event and you just want to look your best, maybe some lash extensions might give you that extra little boost, especially on a wedding day or something like that. I know I invested in a really good makeup artist for my wedding, just so that on wedding photos, people would be noticing everything as opposed to my different eyes. So the next one is, it's also a simple one, is hairstyle. So I can get away with wearing my hair over one eye. And Victoria Beckham, I think, brought out this kind of haircut with the, I can't remember what it was called, an asymmetrical bob or inverted bob, I'm not quite sure. But people with full vision couldn't wear it because your hair is in your face and that's no good. But for me, it works perfectly. So my hairdresser and I kind of came up with this years ago, and he even said, you're the perfect candidate for this haircut because it can cover your eye and you won't feel, it won't impair your vision at all, and it also kind of covers up my eye a little. So I do that, and sometimes people will say, oh, your hair is in your face, but it is kind of intentional. But that is a little quick fix that you can also do, is just grow your bangs out and let them kind of fall, and it's kind of a sexy, sultry look, and people wouldn't know any different. Now there's also taking a little step further, and that's getting corrective lenses. Now I personally wear a contact lens. I had this, I just picked it up at my local ophthalmologist, like where you get eyeglasses, and he fitted me with a color that was very, very similar to this one. And we just went through, these are 1 day AccuV Define. They're just simple, easy ones that they can order to any optometrist. And they're very inexpensive, and of course I only need one a day, so they last quite a long time for me, and that's what I use. And I'm actually going to insert a photo of me without the lens so you can see the difference, and then I'll insert one where I am wearing the lens so you can see that this eye also is very, very pale in comparison because it had cataract, so it's got that kind of white cast, so it's definitely not as a vivid green as this eye. I did in the past have a contact lens that was just a black pupil because I don't have a pupil as well, and I really liked it, but the problem is because my eye kind of wanders, it really emphasized that. So when I was speaking to someone, this eye was going that way, and when the pupil went one way, people were kind of confused at who I was looking at, and then raises further questions. So I just kind of like to be under the radar, and sometimes I don't mind answering questions, but sometimes I just don't want to go there. So anyway, a pupil contact is also a possibility, and the same thing at your ophthalmologist. You can get it there. They sell them in these disposables, which is wonderful. So I just pop one of these in my eye every single day, and easy peasy. Now I mentioned in the past I had a modeling career. It wasn't a big celebrity modeling career, but I did do some modeling, mostly runway things. Not so many photo shoots because I wasn't as photogenic as I was as good on the runway. But I always felt self-conscious about my eyes, and of course in that industry you get picked apart with every single thing. So I did get a lot of attacks about that. So the easiest way for me is I had a prosthetic made. I still have it, it's right here. I had this made in a ophthalmologist office. So what they did was they actually poured a mold on my eyeball, and yes, it sounds as horrific as it sounds. I actually kicked my shoes across the room because I'm very squeamish about eyes, believe it or not. I think it's just because I've had so much poking and prodding my whole life that I just get really freaked out about it. So anyway, it wasn't a nice experience, but they made a cast mold of my eye, and then they made this prosthetic shell. It's not glass, it's acrylic. And a artist then painted my eye on the other one. And I will insert a photo because I don't remember how to get this in and out, and there is a technique, and I'm terrified of putting it in and then I can't get it out again. I only wore this when I was modeling because, surprise, surprise, I'm allergic to it. We're not quite sure what the problem is. My eye just burns and waters. So we thought maybe I was allergic to the materials, which is, I'm pretty sure it's acrylic. So they boiled it and did all kinds of things to try and get any kind of scent or fumes or anything out of it. That didn't work. Then we thought perhaps it was just because it was covering my entire eyeball, it couldn't breathe. So we drilled little holes in it, and that didn't help. And so I just gave up and just decided to keep it for special occasions and modeling photo shoots and things where my eyes had to look the same. And again, I'll insert a photo where you can see what this looks like in action, because I do have a close-up photo of my face. And again, I was much, much younger, so just keep that in mind. But this is also an option if you're extremely self-conscious, and or perhaps, like I just mentioned, you want to do a modeling thing, or maybe for a special event, a wedding or something like that, where you want to look your best, or again, self-conscious. I know people can be really cruel, and that can make you feel very self-conscious. I know, I get it. But that's definitely an option. So speak to your ophthalmologist about it. I did actually revisit this about a year or two ago, and unfortunately the same material is being used to make this prosthetic. So they haven't made any new developments, and the first time I got this was probably 25 years ago, so nothing new has come out in prosthetic eyes. They also think that perhaps my other issue could be that my eye is still alive. I think maybe if the eye was dead, I wouldn't have any issues, but because there's live tissue and things there, that's why it's so sensitive, because I have no issue at all wearing a contact lens. So I'm not quite sure, but anyway, I can't wear it. And lastly, something that I started doing about 2 or so years ago is I started having Botox here. Not for wrinkles, not for anti-aging, but my entire face is actually starting to fall, and I think it's just because the nerves or muscles aren't really being worked properly, because of my eye has never worked. So it's kind of falling, and also because it's so much smaller than the other one because it never grew as a baby. So what I've been doing, and I'll insert photos, I took a photo just before I had the Botox done, and then several weeks into it, just so you can kind of see the difference over a few weeks. It is very, very subtle and minor, but I feel better about it. I can tell when it's wearing off. It's usually 3 months for me, but he just puts some, I think it's in my eyebrow right here, and it just kind of lifts this eyebrow, which kind of gives this eye just a tiny bit of a lift, just to make them a tiny bit more symmetrical. He also mentioned to me that there is an ultrasound that I could actually have done, and I think it would lift this whole side of my face. And I'm not quite ready for that drastic of a procedure quite right yet. My little tiny bit of Botox I'm really happy with, and I'm happy with the results. Like I mentioned, when I was younger and modeling and all that kind of stuff, maybe I would be more interested in pursuing something a little bit more aggressive. But at this stage of my life, I'm extremely happy with the way I am, and this is just the way it is. But I do like to have a few little tweaks just to boost my confidence a little and make me feel a little bit better. The other thing about the ultrasound that does also appeal to me is I think you only have to have it done once a year, whereas the Botox, you need to go, for me, I need to go about every 3 months, and it is quite expensive. So I need to weigh up the pros and cons of that and the costs and things like that. But it is definitely an option, and it's something that you might be interested in doing if you have some of these problems that I do. So my list is quite long. I have a blind eye, it's small, it's droopy, it's lazy, and it's cataract. So hopefully you don't have all of these issues. I'm kind of a rare case. And ironically enough, you won't believe this, I said at the beginning of my video that this would only pertain to maybe 1% of the world, but my stepdaughter has the exact same problem. Hers isn't as severe, but hers is a little tiny bit smaller. You wouldn't know unless you mentioned it, and usually it only happens when she's really tired, and hers hasn't cataract. So she's a little bit better, and she also has a little bit of peripheral vision, whereas I have absolutely zero. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting thing, and she and I have a little bond over that. So anyway, I hope this helped somebody, even if it's just one person. I know how difficult it can be, and it's a real shot at confidence sometimes, and sometimes people can be extremely cruel. So please, no rude comments below either. I'm a little more thick-skinned and can handle it, but it's not very nice to say the least. So anyway, I hope this helped, and if you are interested, I can maybe do more videos on this topic and some of my journeys and experiences I've had on this. I did do a quick search on other people with a blind eye, and I noticed there was so many, and a lot of them were really struggling with confidence. So I'm hope that these people find my video and helps them boost their confidence a little bit. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please click like, and if you'd like to see any beauty related topics on my channel, please hit the subscribe button. I generally post a lot of things for over 40 beauty, but I may be doing a few more on this particular topic because I hope to help somebody. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.